And one man who is important to that link, one of the strength of the area council one. Let's welcome Minister of Justice, Member of Parliament, Delroy. Chuck!
Boss for the boss, done for every done. Ever militant, so it and humble like column, tell them no confusion. Boss for every boss, done for every done. Make them know see I want, so it and no confusion.
Labor rights. I am so happy to be here because I'm in the constituency where we have Councillor Prince and we are here, the next Member of Parliament, Davian Vassell. Labor rights, I can tell you, as I sat there and listened to the speakers, I am proud to be a part of the Labour Party.
Labor rights. Shout, 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 shout.
I can tell you, Labour rights, that no other party has done more for this country than the Jamaica Labour Party. And that is why I have no doubt that the third term is on and we are going to win by a landslide when it is called.
Jamaica no bother fuss, no bother fight. We need to be a labor right. No shake the boat because a woman will.
In Area Council 1, we have 9 seats and we expect the 10th seat. The 10th seat is East Central, St. Andrew. And I'm here also because he's on the border with me and I'm going to work with him. And I'm going to work even harder across Northeast and East Central. You know, I usually win by about 3,000 votes, you know. But in the 7th, when I become the 7th star general after this election, I'm working even harder because I want double the majority.
In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory.
And when I double the majority, I know it will influence the people in East Central to make sure Davian Vassell win by over 1,000 votes. Labor rights, and I want to speak specifically now to the workers in East Central. The task ahead is not easy. The votes are out there, and you have to go walk the streets, talk to all the potential voters. Many of them have not voted for many decades because they're labor rights, but them now vote for the PNP. But them feel the PNP, you know, might win, so them don't go out and vote. You know labor rights. Have to go out there, and you have a lot to talk about. You can tell them what the Labour Party candidates and MPs have done across this country. Labor rights, when you talk, let them know that every constituency that has a Labour Party MP, they have never seen such good work over the last 5 years. And I'm telling you, when you think that there are about 17 new MPs over the last 10 years, 15 but 2 before, about 17 new MPs, and in those constituencies, there were PNP MPs for 30 odd years. And what these constituencies have seen in the last 4.5 years is much more improvement than in 31 years of the PNP representation. So labor rights in East Central, you must let them know that when you see MPs like Rhoda Crawford, when you see MPs like Robert Miller, when you see other MPs around the island, Westmoreland, Western Hanover, Northwest St. Anne, Northern Trelawney, these are new Labour Party candidates, you know, after 30 odd years of PNP. And they have done more work in 4.5 years than in the 30 odd years of PNP representation. And what I want you, East Central Labour Rights, to be able to go into every home and let them know that with Davian Vassal, you're going to see improvement right across East Central. And why I know is the Labour Party administration, this Andrew Holness administration, has done more for this country than any other administration in the history of Jamaica. Labour Rights, when you go and walk the streets and talk to the people, you have a lot to be proud about. A lot to be proud about the Andrew Holness-led administration of the last 9.5 years. Never before in the history of this country has unemployment been so low, 3.8%. Never in the history of this country have you had 10 consecutive years, no tax. When PNP in power, you know, everybody listen, when they get tax, they want tax, if you denture, tax handcart, tax everything. But in the last 10 years, we have not taxed anyone. And what is important to note, Labour Rights, what is important to note, we no tax, we no borrow, we no beg. And what is important is that this administration has had enough money and has returned some of the tax back to the people. Under this Andrew Holness-led administration, the Ministers of Finance, Audley Shaw, Nigel Clark, Fabian Williams, have so managed the economy that we can give back to the people some of the tax. Last year, almost $10 billion was given back to people from taxation. And very shortly, $1 billion will be given back to the people in grants of $20,000. Can you imagine that? And we are able, right across Jamaica, to give 10,000 water tanks. Huh? Can you imagine any PNP government being able to do that? And when you say, ladies and gentlemen, how well the Andrew Holness-led administration has done, every sector of the country has seen improvement. I can tell you about the justice sector. I know Davian Vassal go to court, and he will tell you, he never the courts look so good. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we, in the court system, we have improved the courts. People tell me, you know, up to yesterday, a man tell me, a lawyer, old man, he says he's happy to go to court now because 20 years ago, when he went to court, you know, the judge has sweat, he must sweat, witnesses are sweat, everybody has sweat. But now, in the summer, the heat of the summer, he goes to court and he can carry out his case and nobody has sweat because all the courts have been air conditioned under this administration.
Labour Party a big up Jamaica. We everyone for Jamaica. We not run let Jamaica.
Labour Rights, because of how this government has managed the economy, when people sue the government and succeed, we say, where the bill? We pay it right away. In the past, you know, you had to beg to get your money. In the past, when lawyers did work for poor people, them have to wait years and 2 years for the money that they should get for representing poor people. Now we beg them, come for your money. In other words, every January, all the lawyers who work for poor people, we say, if you have any bill, send it in quick, because we want to pay it before March come, which is the end of the fiscal year. And that is so right across all the various sectors. We have the funds because of how well the economy has been managed by Andrew Holness and the 3 ministers of finance so far. So labor rights, why on earth would anybody want to change the Andrew Holness-led administration? 3rd term, 4th term for Andrew Holness. But labor rights, it no get come like that. We have to work for it. We have to go and explain to the people that for the first time you have an administration that is working for Jamaica and not for themselves. An administration that is ensuring that the people of this country benefit and grow. And that's why we say prosperity for all. So I can tell you, labor rights, when the 49 MPs now on the ground and East Central with David Vassar go underground and talk about the achievements of the Andrew Holness-led administration, I have no doubt that the people of this country will return Andrew Holness and this administration for the 3rd term. Labor rights, let me emphasize to you, and especially the pensioners who are listening now, the poor people across Jamaica. The Labour Party has always worked to protect you. When the PNP is in power, the pensioners, the little pension them get, it just got down to nothing. Under Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party, we always ensure that inflation is low so that the pensioners' little money don't dissipate. No government has done more for the pensioners than this Andrew Holness-led administration. And as was pointed out to you, the poor people of this country have never had such a low poverty rate across Jamaica, 8%. And because money is available to fix police stations, to add the number of police from 11,000 to 14,000, to give resources to the police, you can see over the last 3 years, crime, murder have continued to trend down. In 2023, murder trended down 9%. In 2024, murder trended down 19%. And I have to tell you, Robert Nestor, up to yesterday, he said 42%, but murders trended down 44.5%. Murders. And if it continues on that trend, and I really hope it continues on that trend, it might be down by 50% by the time we call the election. And this is important labor right. Life is important. And the police is out there working hard to protect and keep the place safe. And I can call on all of us to ensure that you work with the police to keep the guns off the street and to keep murder down. But what is the PNP doing? When you ask them, what more can you do to help this country? They have no plans. They have no policies. They have no programs. All they do is to cuss and complain. As the deputy leader said, them trying to undermine a young man who is an outstanding chartered accountant. You know how they undermine that outstanding DPP, Paula Llewellyn, when we put a case for the age limit to be raised. But when you listen, labor rights, to what the PNP are saying, They have no plans, no programs. So what they do? They start claiming corruption there, corruption there. You know, when a party like the PNP talk about corruption, you know that they are enmeshed in corruption. That's all they can talk about is corruption. And we're going to defend the Prime Minister because I'm talking about corruption. They can't point one bit of evidence to show that the Prime Minister is involved in any illicit enrichment or corruption. And I hear Markaji talking about statutory declaration. I have read the 3 reports from the IC, and there's not one line that implicates the Prime Minister. Not one paragraph, one line that implicates the Prime Minister. I don't even know why they put out those 3 reports. Because they had nothing of value in them. And I say we must defend the Prime Minister when we hear about him. But IC said this about him. IC talk about millions going from left, right, and 28 accounts. Nothing wrong with that. From I know this Prime Minister, he has been an investor. And his family have been investing in Jamaica to make sure Jamaica is a better place. And I say to you, labor rights, when you hear the leader of the opposition shouting, blood and fire, you wonder what they mean. You hear him? Blood and fire? One thing I want to say, labor rights, we want a peaceful election. But you know, if one of us, leaders in the Labour Party, had shouted blood and fire, so the civil society would be attacking us. You don't hear one oomph from them. But civil society is doing a great job of discrediting themselves. Not all of them, many of them, doing a great job of discrediting themselves. And when I see them headlines by some of the media about tyranny, authoritarian government, there's no more democratic leader than Andrew Holness. None. I can tell you, no leader like Andrew Holness. He bears no malice and embraces everyone in the Jamaica Labour Party. And that is why the Jamaica Labour Party is more united than ever in its history. But when you look on the PNP, you know, you see the people, them cussing one another. And not only them cussing one another, they are senior members of the People's National Party who say Markaji must never ever be Prime Minister. And when you look here, social media, some strong PNP, you know, tell you about not only Markaji, but the General Secretary and Peter Bunting, that they must never ever go back to Parliament. Because when, as Floyd pointed out, look at these, look at Peter Bunting. Get a backside in central Manchester. And before him stay there with the people and work with the people, him run on South Manchester. The same with Dayton Campbell, as Floyd pointed out. Before him stay with the people in Northwest St. Anne, run on to Westmorland and looking seat, looking power. And so labor rights, you have to point that out when you campaign to show how the leadership of the PNP, that them cuss one another, they're not interested in people and working for the people in their constituency. All them want is to run to a safe seat to see if them can get a safe seat to become MP. You must work with the people. And when you work with the people will vote for you. And that is why I know when Beverly walked with Davian in Cassia area, I'm sure to increase the majority there. And I know in Hagley Park and Maxfield, I'm going to neutralize the vote of the PNP, because you don't have to tell the PNP, you know. Is PNP no want Market G to be Prime Minister? Them tell you, you go on social media and you see the PNP bloggers telling you, make sure you don't vote PNP because they don't want Market G to be Prime Minister because they don't know where he come from. And you know, I have to tell you the truth. In 2020, you know, people say vote for me and I believe them. Because when he came to vote, he had my voter ID in his hand. So I'm told. But the truth of the matter, labor rights, this is a serious election coming up. The future of this country is at stake. All of the undecided, and there are many undecided, you have to persuade. When we persuade those sitting on the fence to come over to the Labour Party, vote for the Labour Party, I know it will be a landslide. Third term coming, Labour Right. Work hard and let us get the victory. Shout out to you all, Labour Right.